Okay. Sorry, I lost you guys. This is the second part of this 911 number 2. And it is this second time when Mercury connects with Pallas I'm showing you here, which is just 3 days after Mercury turns retrograde. The moon conjunct the galactic center. This amplifies that moment, and not just that the moon is here, also the Greenwich midnight point, 0 meridian. This is a powerful moon, very kind of intentionally focused on that goal for liberation. I almost would like to say it is if you have planets personally in Sagittarius or know someone who has, these are extremely freedom loving people, and the moon in here squaring Mars, and Mars still in the last degree of Virgo. Again, this is a super intelligent energy we're seeing here, very analytical and ready to risk, to take a big step in the right direction, even though there's also Neptune, so we will see a fair bit of confusion and of not knowing what to think, where to go. The beauty is the big trine here with the node Eris and the black moon, which hints at the idea I mentioned earlier that it is the rising up to a higher plane of perception, to see really the good and the bad, the dark and the light as the polarities at play. And this is where the breakthrough really happens, when we are able to let go of that dualistic thinking and see things as just what they are. This is a necessary process towards the awakening. Just look at it that way and be compassionate. Give your love whenever it is necessary, in the moment, in the action, and it is thousands of times a day we have the chance to be positive, to help this evolution to gain traction, to go in the right direction. It is the little acts which count. Here I'm just trying you to show the big picture, which is encouraging if you can see it. So with this duo here, this is another really beautiful expression of our times. Vesta is the spiritual aim. It is what we serve, what we believe in, what we're living for, literally. It is that higher spiritual determination, and yes, it can get quite fanatic on one end when it's in its lower frequency band, but together with Estrella now, again, the one we just looked at before, you see, if you go back quickly to this chart, which was the one, yes, they're both here, and Estrella is catching up, getting closer to lock in with Vesta, Estrella and Vesta. It is then, I guess you could say, a spiritual obligation to serve and to do the right thing, in that sense, to really get involved, roll your sleeves back and do the work. That is Estrella. In her positive side, after the disaster comes the cleanup crew. Yes, that is true. And the cleanup crew is the compassion at first, the understanding of all of us, and then out of that we generate the frequency which will bring these people the practical help, and it's already happening. I mean, we see again an unprecedented helping each other happening in these places. People go through extreme hardship to be at service. It is really heart opening. It's exactly the same pictures we saw after 9/11, when strangers were hugging each other and helping each other, and from even putting your life at stake to save others. This is kind of the energy we're seeing here again. So let's go back here to Mercury's retrogression. As you say, as you see, the 23 degrees here again emphasized. 23, and then here this Uranus at the 8th house cusp makes total sense. This is the global chart for the Mercury retrogression. Tomorrow, the initiation look at the Aries rising. Yes, this is really a breaking through to new paradigm time. I yesterday listened to a really interesting show by a young archaeologist, Matthew Lacroix. I put the link in. Anyway, he's done some remarkable work on all these old civilizations, Göbekli Tepe and others, latest findings, and showing that Earth's history is really way older than we were ever told. Let's put it that way. So he dates, for example, the pyramids back at least 38,000 years. Anyway, just he said something really interesting. He said, reformatting the mind. That is what is asked of us at this time, to wrap ourselves around new evidence of a nature we have not had before. It's just the necessity to open our eyes and accept, listen, look, and that reformatting of our minds to adjust to changing paradigms. That's exactly what this chart shows to me. Okiroi, beautiful. Okiroi is also an centaur and is always kind of expanding, accelerating, enlarging. That's kind of Okiroi's energy, a booster, you could say. So this is beautiful here in these early degrees of Aries. Yet this shows an open mind with this degree, the second degree of Capricorn here at the center of the heavens. And then, yes, on that, a few days later, the lunar nodes change signs, and I will have more on that. Just want to give you a quick connection here. You see where the moon is by then. This is when the lunar nodes cross the line of 26, 22, and 30 seconds of arc in Aries. This will shift the energies quite a bit. We get deeper into this in another video, but I just wanted to make the connection, showing you this is when this retrograde Mercury fully gets activated on the 26th with that lunar nodal change. 26th, 27th, I wrote down here, will be a time of gigantic activation is in process of a crystallization, is starting to really become evident. I had this little video which I wanna throw. This is what happens in chemistry. It's called a saturated solution. I just want to play you this quickly. So this is a liquid, and this is real time. You see now a first little piece of dust is inserted, and then see how fast it goes. Crystallizing that whole liquid into one big crystal. It is kind of, the integration happens so quick, so fast, and that's what I see happening right now on our planet in terms of lights going off, everything falling in place. You see this 0 degree Virgo Sun is indicative. Hexagram 59 here, dispersion, 55, fullness. This is a super powerful first degrees of these mutable signs. It's kind of the ability to look at things in a very objective manner, because there is kind of that inner abundance where the earth is, even though Saturn is here, which is an interesting contradiction, you could say, that earth and Saturn here are meeting. Saturn usually naturally is hardship and scarcity and heaviness, all of that, and definitely that is something we will experience quite a bit through the next few weeks and months, but it's definitely concentrated around that time. 27th of August it will be most exact, so that is around the time when probably a huge number of people are stumbling upon what they have been kind of ignoring. So Mercury entered the retro loop. Now, do I have it here? No. Okay. On August the 3rd, 8 degrees and 00 minutes and 11 seconds to be exact. That is the degree Mercury will come back to on the 15th of September and then turn direct again, in where I showed you before, that little loop here. Anyway, this is in hexagram 40, as I pointed out, I guess, last time in my recording, which is deliverance, liberation. There's a liberation of mind planned into this cycle, and this was initiated on the 3rd of August. Now, this is really the epiphany I had, which I was saying earlier, I guess in my last video that was now. The epiphany that when a planet enters the retro cycle, and I should quickly show you that again for those of you who are not yet, have not seen the other one. This is it. You see, that's kind of the, if you linearly display where a planet is in the sky against the stars, this is where Mercury entered the retro loop at 8 degrees Virgo on the 3rd in hexagram 40, deliverance, and then moves up to where it is now, the 23rd of August, at 21:51 and then going back to 8 degrees once more on the 15th of September. So this is kind of that powerful moment when that loop is entered, where things get into circular motion, you could say, almost, where you will go back to eventually. So a seed is planted there, and this is an incredibly powerful moment, as I just discovered. As I say, I will do another recording, particularly on that issue. I think it's worth it. So that moment for this place again here. Again, we have sedna, pretty dead on exact. Pelion is the mountain. Pelion is always the one which is putting weight on whatever it touches, giving it a particular importance and real stature, making it stand out. That is kind of the impression I have of Pelion being a centaur again. Well, Saturn here at the 4th house cusp in a conjunction with the moon, that is not really auspicious, to say the least, in the 4th house, which is all about home and what is where we usually anchor our privacy, our little castle of reality within this beautiful world. And yes, this is definitely an omen of sorts, with Mars, Mercury, Pallas opposing, kind of again that war energy. Ruthless it can be, very calculative. Also Therois, which is a mother bear's fierceness, and if naturally used in the wrong way, this can create quite some impact and damage. Orcus, alchemy on the upper side, but also a very plutonic force, which on its more darker side can mean rituals, and all kinds of rituals are there possible. So this is a very, very loaded axis here. That was the beginning of this Mercury cycle again, when nobody ever was thinking of something like that happening, but you see the imprint is here cosmologically. This was a very vulnerable place for things of that nature to manifest. And as I said, this is hexagram 40, deliverance, 5:45 to 11:22:30. Again, those of you who are new here, if you're interested in learning more about that, there's a link in the description. Goes to my site, thecosmoswithin.com, where I have all the degrees exactly delineated, where these hexagrams start, where they end, the different lines, even where they move to. So if you like to go deeper and study that, it's an amazingly complex and wonderful addition through the human design system, and it's channelings, marvelous teachings indeed, which expand the dimension of astrology so enormously, enrich whatever we analyze, give it a whole new perspective. So hexagram 40, deliverance, and that is when Mercury then on its in its retrogression, in going backwards, re-enters this zone where it then eventually, this is the 8th, you see on the 15th it will turn direct, so for 2 weeks more it will be in this hexagram, expressing through this breakthrough energy into a space of opening, of freeing itself, of walls breaking down, literally, one could say. Very mind expanding hexagram. So for again that place, Uranus at the 7th house cusp, yes, that's where the ripples are definitely going out from. I mean, yes, there's many other places on this planet which are suffering the exact same fate right now. Actually, here in my homeland, Canada, it's pretty terrible too what happens. But the thing about Hawaii is that this is, particularly that little island Maui, is the crown jewel of the United States. It is the dream location probably for almost everyone and anyone. So this has a very, very special and very charged meaning in itself, and as the American nation already is in that place where the awakening is really well on its way, this might, and it will be, the final trigger to really bring that mass movement we need for the breakthroughs to fully manifest, for the system to fully implode from inside out. Yes, it is that place where a big shockwave is emanating from the black moon here, center stage, 10th house in Leo still. And as we know, the black moon is in Leo since February or so. This has been a hell of a ride in some way, of getting all these extreme manifestations so full on stage, in full day limelight, and everybody can see it's majestic, it's big, it's loud, it's dramatic, it's wild. All of these subjects, yes, they are still in play for another 6 weeks or so before we go into a whole new department of shadow work, into the analytical and trying to explain, understand, realize the deeper layers of what all of that is based on. We have just been cutting through. So there's we're still in that phase of sensationalism, you could call it. Yes, again, these two, just reminding you, I may go a bit deeper into this in my last recording. A duo which speaks for that huge breakthrough where there's everything is there. There's great courage, and there's that readiness to embrace difficulty for, in turn, getting back all the wonderful values of freedom and you name it, truth, liberty. And yes, this is then the eclipse of October 14th for that place, Jupiter here. Yes, I mean, this is the place where everything comes into alignment around that time, October 14. Just want to show you this chart now. This is when Venus entered her retro loop on June the 18th, when Venus was at 12:12 in Leo, and that is the degree it will get to turn direct again on the 4th of September. We are still getting there. So this is when this loop was started, and you see the 12 degrees 32 here in midheaven for this place. Again, this is a moment which laid the foundation for what we saw happening with Pluto rising. I mean, this is really amazing synchronicity again, that from this place on a powerful impact of transformation is rippling out over the whole globe. And yes, this axis here is then coming into the ascendant axis here with the eclipse in October. So again, just amazing how the universe is exact, absolutely exact. Anyway, I think I reached the end of my lineup of charts. Thanks for watching, and more on this new technique I found just in one of my next videos, the retro loop and its powers. Love you all, take care, be good to yourself, be strong, be well rooted in your physical body. This is super important to hold that connection with Earth, with nature, and connect with your heart. Be in that frequency of empathy, of love, of sharing whatever you can help others with. This is critical, this is super important. Thank you, talk to you soon.